So this could be a huge mistake, huge, considering the fact that Ford just sent another letter to President Joe Biden and is expressing their concern about this push for an EV transition. This 60% of new car sales, new car and truck sales, 60% being battery powered by 2030. So this is causing huge concern for good reason. But think about it. Ford has recently made drastic changes to their vehicle lineup that eliminates cars for the most part. Like the only car that they really sell is a Mustang. And the push for this EV change, which is ultimately going to be underneath the new umbrella of Ford Model E, clever wording there, is going to force Ford to sell 60% of an EV. Not just Ford, but many other manufacturers that are probably pushing back. But Ford's probably got it worse, okay, than most, because some of these other manufacturers have haven't decided to go the route of Ford and just go primarily trucks. So you got to think, Ford is looking to convert 60%. Think about it, 60% of Ford sales are trucks. Actually, more than that are trucks. But they're going to be trying to convince F-150 owners, F-250 owners, Super Duty owners, 350s, 450s. They're going to be trying to convince Raptor owners, all these people, to go EV, 100% battery powered. Now, that seems like a daunting task, okay? Because me, personally, when I bought my two, actually I bought more than two. I had two personally, but I had probably 5 or 6 for my company of F-250s. All of them were 6.7 liter Super Duty Power Strokes. And one of them was a gas burner, but I got a good deal on that one. It was cheap. But the thing is, it's like, there's no way that I would try to run a construction company off of battery powered work trucks. It's not going to happen. And is Ford even considering making a Super Duty in battery? I don't think so. I highly doubt it. So Ford has sent a second letter to the Biden administration, President Joe Biden, and saying, hey, look, dude, this is a daunting task. This is terrible. Like, granted, Ford EV sales were up like 8% last year, but to reach 60% by 2030, they don't see it. Not to mention the current state of the economy and possibly how much further down this toilet bowl things will go with higher interest rates and shaky jobs and high inflation and expensive everything to convince people to buy an EV truck that's going to be expensive too, if, let's just say, Biden were to have a consecutive term. Because let's be honest here, if he did, odds are our overall personal and business financial situation is not going to improve. Probably not. I think if Trump were to win, yeah, maybe. Nikki Haley, that could be worse than Biden, but only time will tell. But Ford is worried, Ford is concerned, and for good reason, because they said that even since Biden has made this mandate and this push and he's made these promises, there's only been 3 additional charging stations built since then. Far from inspiring confidence in this electric vehicle network and grid of charging that people are supposed to buy into, albeit at a expensive price tag, by the way, for some barely 300-mile range. And how are you going to convince people to do this, especially now with folks in the northern states, folks in Chicago having such a bad taste in their mouth already from witnessing the downfall and the terrible situation and the struggle that so many people faced with freezing temperatures, below zero temperatures, and how that affected their EVs, how that affected their battery charging, how that affected their charging life, not to mention how much it actually costs to operate an EV and the charging per kilowatt hour. And don't get me started on tires, because that's a whole nother ball of wax right there. I just saw this on the ground. Look at this. Look at the size of this zip tie. This zip tie is huge. It's crazy. But yeah, this could be the end. Look at it this way. If Biden forces this, pushes through with this ridiculous mandate, Ford is going to have to find a way to boost their EV sales to 60%. So there's two ways you could do that, maybe three, really just two. The first way would be to sell more EVs, right? So you could sell more EVs to make up for that difference and get EV sales up 60%. That means you're going to have to outpace gas powered. So you can still make gas powered, you just have to sell more EVs. And me personally, if I'm going to go to a dealership and I'm going to possibly consider buying an F-150, which I'm going to include a clip here and show you guys a trim level and pricing of a Ford F-150 Lightning and make your damn teeth fall out. So we got an F-150 XLT. We got an F-150 trimmer. We've got a Ford F-150 Lightning, another Ford F-150 Lightning. That's an XLT. That's an XLT. We got some Mach-E's. But this Ford F-150 Lightning, we got a 2023 4x4 Super Crew, 145-inch wheelbase, dual E-motor, extended range battery, single speed transmission, and a rapid red metallic tinted ceramic coated, maybe that's what the CC stands for, I'm not 100% sure, with a dark slate cloth console, 40 console interior. Total MSRP $84,634. After all the extras, you're looking at $91,629. $91,629. You won't be buying gas, that's for sure. But yeah, I wonder how much one of these costs with leather interior. Don't talk about my teeth. I know they're messed up. But maybe I can go to get Invisalign or something. I'm gonna get real braces. But part of getting old sucks. And I think there's other things wrong, but I know getting older, it really sucks. But either way, so you could sell more EVs, right? Or you could sell less gas powered, okay? Now here's the problem. Ford has already experienced some terrible setbacks as a result of the UAW strike. That's going to cost them a lot of money. It's going to cost them billions in loss from the time of the strike, and billions more over the period of negotiated terms for increased wages, okay? Ford is already offering buyouts to get people to resign and quit sooner rather than later. The writing's on the wall, folks. But here's the deal. If Ford wants to not find themselves in hot water, then one of the other option would be to sell less gas powered. And that way you sell less gas powered, or you manufacture less gas powered, so that the minuscule sales from EVs reaches 60%. If that happens, Ford goes bankrupt, because there's no way that Ford will be able to sustain the revenues and profits that they would need to survive by cutting down gas-powered vehicle sales in order, or diesel-powered vehicle sales, in order to drive up EV sales to 60%. She's tired. She wants a nap. She's sleepy. So, unfortunately, I'm worried. I'm afraid. I'm scared. Maybe Biden pivots. Maybe there's some form of backup plan where it's like, okay, we're not going to meet the requirements by 2030, so we'll just pay a fine to do that. But again, that's a hit to Ford. That's another blemish. That's a black eye. Ford could quite possibly fail. Will there be a bailout? I don't know. But something's going to have to happen. Something's going to have to give, and something wild is going on. And I wonder if the other manufacturers are talking about it like Ford, because Ford has literally backed themselves into a corner. Because I don't know if you guys remember when Ford announced that they were pretty much pulling away from cars and going straight to trucks. You can get an Expedition, you get Explorer, or you can probably get an Escape, Explorer, Expedition, and you can get a Maverick, a Ranger, a F-150, a F-250, or a Super Duty 350, 450, 550, 650, and I think they go up to 650 for like ambulances and fire trucks and stuff like that. But pretty much Ford was like, yo, we're done with the Taurus, we're done with the Fusion, we're done with the 500, we're done with any other car, Fiesta, we're done with the Festiva, we're done with the Escort, we're done with all the cars, and the only car that was going to remain was a Mustang, and then they try to shift over to a Mustang Mach-E and leverage that name. But this second letter to Biden is worrisome, folks. It really is. And if you have stock in Ford, I would seriously take a closer look at that percentage of your portfolio and your risk tolerance for what the future may hold. And Tesla too. Tesla investors losing billions of dollars. So it's already underway. It's already happening. And, you know, it's granted, it's 2024. This mandate is by 2030. This is kind of a Ford product here. It's a Jag. But by 2030, so it's only 5 or 6 years away. But the reason why I say that Ford could potentially be bankrupt in just 2 or 3 years is that they're going to have to ramp this up in order to meet that 60% level by then. They can't wait until then and just flip the switch. So if they do, they're going to ramp it up until then. And on the way to doing that, it's going to bite them in the ass, and they're going to be completely screwed. Yeah, see? Jag.
Our eyes are itchy.